My name's Connor. I play in a band called Die Alone and National Security. It's guitar for both of those bands. Originally from Mississauga, Ontario, live in Burlington now. Alright, so main influences for me, I have to start with my dad. He kind of got me into guitar. He was always into like one band only, which was Thin Lizzy, good band. Next you get into Metallica and stuff, and then you're into like sort of heavier music, and you know, you get into much loud, much music and stuff. I think nu metal was big at that time. And then from there on, it was just insane. And it was like, all right, we're on to another path. What got me into punk, metal and hardcore, my uncle was a main influence on me, you know, after, you know, going with overdriven like rock music like my dad liked. He was the one who introduced me to Slayer, and Slayer was kind of the gateway thrash band to put us on to me and my brother. You know, Violence, Creator, pretty much all that stuff. Then we discovered death metal and started kind of a high school death metal band, I guess you would say. And you know, Kian got his drum kit, and then I had like this weird Fender amp. We would always like jam Hammer Smash Bass and stuff, and Cryptopsy and everything like that. But yeah, the main guy was actually my uncle, and he gave us the gateway drug, I guess you could say. Aside from that, you know, it would have been Much Loud, watching, you know, videos of Much Loud, and seeing bands similar to like Slayer, like Infernal Majesty, Sacrifice, all those bands. But yeah, and even Exhumed and stuff, and that's pretty much it. We just kind of went from there, so yeah. So, first show or concert I ever went to was actually April Wine in 2000. I think it was either 2000 or 2001. Burlington Music Festival, before like we lived here, and we saw April Wine, and then I think the first real show I ever went to was Overkill 2008. So it was October 2008. I remember that because I had to go for like a Thanksgiving dinner with my friends who happened to be Italian, and he was like, don't wear any Slayer merch because, you know, my family's very religious. And I was like, okay, so I wore a green shirt. And so, you know, put my, I think I was wearing a Motorhead shirt. I can't remember. But yeah, we saw Overkill. Warbringer played that day. Pile Driver, believe it or not, too, as well. And they were an old, I think they were from Montreal or something. And then some like weird other band that I can't remember. But that was my first show, and it was great, and I loved it, and perfect first show to be at, so there you go. Yeah, so some of my favorite shows, a lot of them are actually local, believe it or not, and I'll get into that later, but some of the most like memorable shows that I've been at was actually 2014, This Is Hardcore, and Fury of 5 played, Mushmouth, who else? Death Threat. We missed them because we tried to drive there and didn't get there early enough. Who else played? I think Title Fight played that, or they headlined that. E-Town Concrete too as well, that was another one. Stigmata was the brutal scene, and I remember going out for a beer because my brother was underage, and I just watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Who else, man? Oh, Turnstile too as well. Now Turnstile, I think they had the set of the night, and that, I guess that was like the first big show and I just remember like getting pushed, and it was like, oh, I just couldn't see anything. So yeah, this is hardcore, but I do have to kind of touch on like new shows. Pre-pandemic, there was not many people showing up and not many people supporting bands, and nowadays it's like, all right, it's like you enjoy to go to a show. It's not just like a drag to go to a show. You know, it's, you look forward to it all week, and it's like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna blah blah blah, I'm gonna mosh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that and stuff. And Steel City's done a lot of that, and also, you know, post-pandemic too as well, because people want to be in bands and they want to go to shows and, you know, do something fun and everything like that. But that's pretty much it, right? You know, couple shows in 2013, you know, that was always cool, like, you know, crowd killing each other and stuff, but nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, we got to play with, you know, Backtrack, like during their last show in an old band that we were in, One Without Hope. Played with Jesus Piece, our first show too as well. God, who else? Madball. Yeah, Madball. So that would be another one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, so the craziest thing I've actually ever seen at a show, so there's two things. Excuse me. So it's, one of them, I saw Sick of It All, and it was, I think it was the Opera House, 2016, something like that. Yeah, no, it was Opera House, yeah. And so as they were playing, I think DRI played that day too as well. Some guy went on stage and he fucking backflipped and then knocked himself out, and the band like stopped playing in between songs, and I was like, whoa, why would he do that? And yeah, so that was one of them. And the other one was, guy brought his girlfriend to a show, and it was at Duffy's Tavern, you know, Toronto, small venue, everything like that. People were crowd killing and everything like that. I guess somebody hit his girlfriend, and then he just starts swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging. And so I guess I put him not in like a chokehold, but I held him back, and all I could hear like off his face was, and it's like, oh man, shit, you know, this guy's getting fucked up. And then he had to leave, and it turns out he knew the guitarist of the band that was playing. So the first band that I was actually in was One Without Hope, like first real band. You know, we played a good amount of shows, like with like Madball, you know, Backtrack's last show, like their send-off, Jesus Piece, you know, a lot of good stuff. The bands that I'm in now is, you know, I play guitar in Die Alone, play guitar in National Security, which is kind of like a new project, and that's pretty much it. Well, it doesn't really seem like this these days, but, you know, back before the pandemic, there was a lot of, like, you know, cliquey people, internet people and stuff like that. So that was always kind of a drag on going to shows. But also, being a musician, too, as well, gear, like, you know, lugging your gear up, doing this, doing that. You know, half the guys have vans, half the guys don't, stuff, and it's just a hassle, especially if you're a drummer. So shout out Bobby, and obviously Kian too as well. Yeah, we dealt with that for years, man, and you know, it is what it is. It's the struggle. I mean, if you want to be in a band, it is costly. You're gonna lose money off of it, but you know, you gotta do what you love. You know, a lot of people think that you make money off of it, and you don't. You know, it's what you love to do. So, oi oi. All right, favorite food for me has to be buffalo wings, and it can't be anywhere around here. So, I mean, you have North Burlington, South Burlington. It doesn't matter where you go. Oakville, Toronto. I think Toronto has a good one called the Royal, and that's all right. But I think the Roy, whatever it is, the best one I've ever tried that's actually closest to buffalo wings is Yanks Niagara. Now, if you like pizza too as well, you go there and visit them on Instagram, Yanks Niagara. They are, you know, the best servers and stuff like that. Let me tell you a story about this one. So me and my girlfriend, we walked in there, everything like that. We didn't know what it was. It's right beside the rock shop, or where the museum used to be. And walked in, you know, grabbed a pint, and then, oh, hey, they do wings there. Best wings you'll ever taste. And we met some Buffalonians there too as well, and they gave us our pizza. So there you go. Oi, oi, happy days. What's the most useless talent that I have is cartwheeling, I guess. That shows in the pit, you know, pitting, moshing, dancing, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much it. So, I don't know, I guess I learned that in 7th, 8th grade, 6th grade, you know. But yeah, well, you always, Steve. So I want to shout out Spirit of Vengeance, Reality Denied too as well. Very underrated bands. Real World, Friction, all the homies, you know, Steel City Hardcore, you know, Single Wound, Deadly Game, all that stuff. And I just think the scene is becoming way better and stuff too as well. Be sure to catch like new bands. Shout out Steve. He's always been a gem. You know, I recorded our first show, Stronger Than Ever videos on YouTube. Go check him out. You know, he's always been a gem. He's always been in the scene, and he's probably recorded your band before, so check him out. Oi, oi. And by the way, West Ham sucks.